was unbelievable. But then things come to an end. Then things happened, and a lot of experienced players, they go on and retire and move on to other things, and that meant that another group of players had to come in and try and replicate that, which was always going to be difficult to do. So at the time, it was good. It was a learning challenge for me, but yeah, it was amazing time at Leeds, massively to them players as well.
So is that your thought process behind now moving to the Gold Coast? Was that you've done all this amazing stuff in this tenure that you've been at Leeds? Is it now time for you to now follow a different dream? Like, what was the thought behind that?
You know what it was? I think at the time I had numerous opportunities to go to Australia, and because I was so happy at Leeds when we were winning things, that's all that mattered to me. That's all that mattered, and it did push off a couple of opportunities to go to Australia, but I had a chance to go. Things weren't going too well at Leeds. I think they were moving on with other things, and they were in a transitional phase where they were letting players go and stuff, and I just felt it was the right time for me to go and move on. I wanted to go to a different challenge and play in the NRL and try and test myself at that time, but I only went there for the year. I was supposed to be there for 3, but COVID hit around that time, so
makes it ruins it for everybody.
Ruins it for everybody. But at the time I went there, I went mid-season, so I went halfway through the year, and at the time Gold Coast they weren't playing well at all, but it was a great experience. I'm so glad I did it, because I think if I looked back on my career, I always would have thought, what if, if I didn't end up going, and I didn't care how it panned out in the end. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. Everything happens for a reason, I guess, and I'm just glad I went over there. The lifestyle, the experience of it all, it was just incredible. The kids loved it. They enjoyed their time there, and a lot of the times I always reminisce going back there and stuff like that. So hopefully when I've finished playing, we can have a trip over there. So yeah, it's an incredible place to live. Probably one of the best places to live, Gold Coast.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been Gold Coast. There's a lot worse places to live.
Yeah.
On the real surface paradise. All that down there.
Honestly, it's incredible. It's just the kind of, it's just, people there are just really laid back.
Yeah.
Like, you can look at the things that they wear. Like, it's like 10 years back. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, but everyone's up early. The sun's out early. It's everything's open earlier as well. Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I loved it, and it's an experience that I was so glad in my life that I was able to take, and really grateful for the opportunity there. Fortunately, it didn't happen for too much longer than a year, so would have been nice, but I felt like I couldn't implement what I wanted out of it because I didn't have the time. So I went. I know it was a year, but it was halfway through a season, so I played in a team that wasn't doing great. Weren't playing for anything really, so I was playing for just to get the experience of playing in NRL. And yeah, it's I'm really glad that I did that.
You still had that experience. You can still sit here and tell us about how amazing it is. But was it a hard decision to go over there? Because one thing that's been very clear throughout this whole conversation is how family orientated you are.
Yeah.
So, like taking your kids over there, you being over there, you're away from your parents, your brother, and all your friends that you've made, and I guess playing for Leeds as well for such a long time. Like the friendships that you make there, it's like brotherhood, isn't it? So was it difficult to make that decision?
Yeah, of course. I think at the time when we were at Leeds, you kind of feel comfortable. You're in that comfort zone, and the routine's always pretty much the same. And then obviously seeing your family members, obviously I'm over there in Leeds, so now and again I'd always travel over to see my mum and obviously Cash and all that stuff. So and my dad would always come to the games and travel and stuff. So it was always going to be difficult to go. But at the same time, I always felt like I needed to do something that was uncomfortable. I needed to do something that would challenge me. Yeah. Something different. Being in a position where a club is not as successful as what Leeds have been, and learning from how they deal with things rather than what Leeds did. And I'm glad I did it, because I think I got more experience out of that. And when coming back, obviously I went to Salford, and at that time they were they were close to winning something, and then they went back down again. So we've been up and down quite a bit, and then like going through that was kind of comfortable for me. I ended up being comfortable with that because I will learn from what happened over there that I could be comfortable with anything that comes forward. So
you've well at the start of your career, then you've always succeeded, haven't you? You've always won. You've won like the top honours. You've done everything. And then to say that you needed to be uncomfortable. I think success can also be found outside your comfort zones. And even when you were younger, that success moving to Leeds, you're outside your comfort zone again, weren't you?
Oh yeah, you find when I always kind of look back now. You don't look at it at the time, but when you look back now, I look back and think, you know, moving away straight from school, like, yeah, and then obviously traveling over to Australia as well. It's another uncomfortable feeling, and then obviously going into the first team for the first time at 16, 17, that was uncomfortable as well because you wanted to make sure that you were doing everything possible to basically prove yourself, basically, isn't it? Like, I'm here for a reason, you know. But then, yeah, you build that within yourself through years of experience and years of playing and years of being comfortable and uncomfortable in situations. But how do you deal with that, and how do you get through and process all that? It's obviously everyone wants to win, but no one knows the journey. No one knows the process that happens, and